the outputs and the deliverables potentially are going to be the same, exactly the same as the business model ones are. But the way to get there is completely different. Hey, in today's video, let's talk about what business design is. Business design is a relatively new discipline that it's sitting between business and design, quite obviously. And it has been very heavily influenced by new ways of doing design, such as design thinking, where you want to put your customer at the center of everything that you are doing in your designs. So in today's video, let's talk about business design, how it has been influenced by design thinking, what are the deliverables that you're going to provide out of your business design, and who is involved during the business design phase. So first of all, the idea of business design is that you want to make sure that you are designing your business in a way that you are taking the point of view of your customer and not so much the point of view of your company. Of course, you want to make profit, that's a different story, but you want to make sure that the design of that business that you are creating is creating a unique experience for your users. And not only unique, but also enjoyable. So if you're not familiar with design thinking, it has 5 defined stages, and they are not necessarily linear stages that you are going to go through when you are designing either your business or a product. So the first one is that you want to empathize with your customer. You want to really understand who your customer is, what are your stakeholders, how they behave, and try to take their point of view. In the second stage, you want to define what is the problem that you have identified that these customers have. That's what you want to empathize with them. You want to take yourself on their shoes and then be able to define the problem they have. The third stage is that you want to ideate. Here you typically are going to brainstorm to define what are the potential solutions for that problem that you have identified. The fourth stage is that you want to prototype. You could want to create a prototype, typically a small one, easy to use or easy for the potential customers to review, that will help you learn if your approach is the correct one and validate it with those potential customers. And finally, you want to test your prototypes. Here you want to make sure that you are launching different experiments that are going to help you validate your hypothesis by using those prototypes that you have created. What you want to do is that you want to do basically a co-creation of your business and the design of your business together with those potential customers. You don't want to define everything on your own and then hope that they will like this type of business. You want to be able to do it with them. So you are making sure that what you're building, the business that you are designing, is a business that also makes sense for them. And you could say that many companies are going to care too much only about designing the business, and this is their own prerogative. But in reality, the user is not just caring about the product that you have created, but also the business that you have around it. So for example, just think about, for example, the experience that is to buy an Apple, the lifestyle, all that surrounds it, anything related to Apple, that's something that people really appreciate. And think about the same with companies that provide excellent customer success. If you have an excellent customer success team, most likely more people are going to want to join you because you are going to help them to succeed. And this is very important for your potential customers. Being able to define this business together with them, making those pricing models, whatnot, that are going to actually match their needs, is going to make your business that much more successful. Now let's talk about what are going to be the deliverables when you're designing your business. So first, let's talk about the deliverables that are centered around defining the problem. First of all, we want to define properly the problem. Who is affected by this problem and what is their size of this potential market? So here, what is going to help us do this is to have a market research and opportunity size that are going to help us understand the opportunity of this problem that we want to tackle, and if it's worth our time to solve it. Next, we want to define the vision of the business. We want to define what is the value proposition of what we are building. What are going to be the strategies for us to actually be able to get to that value proposition, to that vision that we want to establish. And we also had to be able to define what are the components of our business. So here we want to define different components. So for example, like what is the product that we are building, how the customers can find it, how the customers can purchase it. So we want to build these blocks and this diagram and then show the flow of data between them. And the data that we want to show flowing can be different things. It can be information, it can be goods, it can be money, it can be something else. We also want to touch upon the solution that we are building. What is the product or the service that we are building? What is going to be the design philosophy for our product? What are going to be the OKRs, the objectives and key results, or the KPIs, the key performance indicators, or the goals that this product is going to have? Who are going to be the customers that we serve? This is very important. We want to be focused. We don't want to serve everybody. That's a very good recipe for disaster. We want to make sure that we are defining who are those customers that we are serving. Are we making a B2B business? Is it a B2C, B2B2C? What are the geographies where these customers are? What are the industries that they are in? Especially if you're thinking about B2B, what are the user personas that we are actually targeting? This is key. This is going to help you a lot with the phase of empathizing in the design thinking process. What is going to be your go-to-market strategy? How your customers are going to find you? How you're going to promote your product? How you're going to price your product? Is it going to be a subscription? Is it going to be a perpetual license? What type of subscription? That you need to define. What is going to be the place where the customers can find your product, how they can purchase it? Do they purchase it in a brick and mortar store or do they purchase it online? These are concepts that you have to define. Something that really can help you defining this flow and the go-to-market strategy is a customer journey. If you are interested, I will link in the description. What is the landscape out there of other businesses in the same area as you are? Here you want to look into the competitive analysis. You want to understand better the potential technology changes that are going to help you move forward in a new direction. What are your unique selling points or your key selling points that are going to help you either completely have something that nobody else has, or what are going to be those strengths that you have that are way better than those from your competitors? You have to define how you're going to finance your project. Are you going to do it organically, or do you need some kind of investment for you to be able to start building that business? And you really have to understand how you're going to budget your project. And finally, you have to make sure that you have the team that is going to be able to deliver on the promise of your business design. Yes, business design is an incremental process. You are building and growing over time. You don't want to do all these things necessarily in one go. You don't want to define the perfect flow and the perfect business and then implement it. You want that it grows naturally. And yes, you are going to see the needs for new hires over time. And this is a good thing. You don't have to necessarily blindly hire without knowing where are going to be the expectations or the actual demands for the business. For example, how many customer success representatives you are going to need. You probably don't know that in the very beginning, but over time, when you understand better your potential market, you will get there and understand better what kind of size of team do you need. But you have to be able to understand what are the different needs that you're going to have, and are those personnel that you might already have in the company, or do you have to hire for them? So finally, let's talk about who does business design. This is going to be very different in different companies, but typically there's going to be a mix of somebody that is doing business design. Sometimes there's going to be a specific person that is just a business designer. Sometimes there won't be. In any case, you will have to work with many different teams to do a proper business design, and somebody has to be managing the project. Managing the project and managing the actual business design, usually that could be the business designer, but it can be other people as well. Anyways, you had to work with other people like product designers, product managers, business development potentially, sales, marketing, customer success, data scientists, researchers, and probably others. This will depend a lot in the company on how you are structured and what are the teams that you have internally defined within your company. But you want to make sure that all these disciplines are represented in a certain degree so you can get the inputs to be able to define that business design and actually make sure that you are able to actually then build it properly. So for many people, business design is going to sound like, well, this is just business modeling done in a new way. It's true, in the end, you're going to generate some kind of a business model. But business models usually have been defined more in a waterfall way. You first define what is going to be the model, you set it into the future in a timeline, and then you start building it. And usually there's not a lot of interaction with your customers. The difference now with business design is that you don't want to do this in an isolation. You want to do this together with your potential customers. You want to make sure that what you're building is something that makes sense for them, and you want to build this in an incremental way. So the outputs and the deliverables potentially are going to be the same, exactly the same as the business model ones are. But the way to get there is completely different and is a much more customer-centric process, which has a lot of benefits. Such as customers potentially having a much more interest in the way that you are doing business, because first of all, some of them are involved, and second, you are doing it from the perspective of those potential customers. So you are taking that point of view from the get-go, and not something that you just designed the perfect business and you don't know if your customers are going to be comfortable with the way that you are selling it, the way that you are supporting it, the way that it's working together. So do you have business designers in your company? It's not a terribly common position at this point, although it has become more and more popular, obviously. Let us know in the comments below. I talked briefly about the customer journey. I think that is one of the greatest tools to put yourself in the shoes of the user or the potential customer and actually go through that journey, that experience of purchasing and using and adopting your products. If you want to hear more about customer journey, go check out this video. I'll see you in the next one, and remember, stay safe.